thou shalt say unto the children of Israel. Did you say the trouble now? What is the problem? Who knows the problem now? God wanted all of them to do what? To come. He wanted to relate directly with them. Because unless you are meeting God directly, you cannot become anything for God. Hey, my God, are you following me? Because they stood afar off. They said, let God not speak to us. Let Moses be preaching to us. Some of you prefer preachers than to go direct. Some of it, you think it's a very big thing just to sit down and keep hearing from one conference to another conference to another conference and conference and conference, and you're always there. That may look good to you, but that's not God's will. What is God's will? He wants you to come. If this conference will succeed, the success of this conference is when you rise to come to that place where you and God, you are talking mouth to mouth, face to face. That's when this conference will have achieved what God wanted. But if after we finish preaching, you went by and said, well, we thank God for that. Those brothers, they can preach. Let them be preaching to us. When are they coming again? Will they come again next year? When it is like that, there's little results. But if someone say, where that brother went, and you are walking so much in his life, I want to go there. God say, come along. But because they stood afar off, and only Moses went into that thick darkness. That thick darkness is again that secret place. When he entered, he said, he has entered darkness. Oh, that's what they were saying. But this man has entered into the glory. So the difference between Moses and the rest of Israel, this is where it started. So the Bible said, only Moses knew the way of the Lord. But the rest of the Israel, they don't know his way. They only saw his acts. That is the problem. And that is why it was difficult. Whatever Moses was preaching to them, they have no capacity to obey. Because when God should have appeared to them, they stood afar off. So now, as a result of that, God was now again making another proposal. And look at the proposal. Chapter 20, from 23. You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon your burnt offerings, your peace offerings, your sheep, your oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto you, and I will bless you there. I will bless you. And if you will make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hailstone, for if you lift up your stool on it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto my altar, that your nakedness be not discovered thereon. Praise the Lord. So God said, look, I want to come to you. I want to meet with you. Make me an altar. So our first discussion, which we were looking at in most of your classes, we're saying, what is an altar? And we said an altar is simply a meeting point with God. What's an altar? A meeting point with God. An altar is a platform, a ground, a place, a meeting point where you and God can do what? Can interact. Now, please hear me. God is demanding that any man that wants to become something in God's hand should create, should build a meeting point where he can come to her or to him. Does that make sense to you now? Is it complicated? Who is not following me? All right, you are following. So, the altar is where God can come down and meet with me.